they're going to be important if, in fact, you do get a potential sale of U.S. Steel.
Oh, wow.
They
So
figure,
then you brought
they
that
figure
up.
prominently in that as well.
Whoa.
This morning, obviously, the markets are now dealing with the news over the weekend, which is that U.S. Steel has essentially put itself up for sale, announced strategic alternatives. It was prompted to do that by an unsolicited offer it received from Cleveland-Cliffs. And that offer was half cash, half stock. It was worth about $35 at the time, at least. It was $17.50 in cash, 1.023 shares of Cleveland-Cliffs. Interesting, of course, from a Cleveland-Cliffs perspective, in part because this is a company that has been delevering for the last couple of years.
Right.
A combined company, by the way, would be 40% of the flat-rolled steel market, 60% of automobile-grade steel. Speaking of autos, and so it's not just getting the support of the unions, but of course something we talk about oftentimes here, getting support of the antitrust regulators.
Right.
You have to imagine that
Nightmare.
would not be easy.
I'm with Con on this.
You're with, well,
I have. I mean, come on. If you have 40%,
well, we don't even know if it's DOJ or FTC. I don't even know what you would typically take on. Take on this. The board of directors of U.S. Steel basically responded to the CEO of Cleveland-Cliffs in the following way, saying, hey, they got a letter on July 28th. They went back and forth a little bit, but they wanted them to sign an NDA. Take a listen to the language. So they could further clarify on several key issues, including valuation of the stock component of your proposal, as well as regulatory risk and timing. And they say they were shocked to receive a letter on Friday, August 11th, stating Cleveland-Cliffs refused to sign the nearly completed NDA unless we agree to the economic terms in advance. So that's where things stand, Jim and Carl.
Well, I got to tell you that you have a great interview at 11.
I'm not on the 11, but Carl will have it.
Who's a fiery, incredibly great operator. And it would be fantastic. I think it's very funny. You got this 40% number. If you get a president that allows dumping here, that number goes to 20.
Right.
So I think that this is something that we ought to be thinking about because
do you create a U.S. champion in some way, like a worldwide champion?
I think so.
So maybe you let a deal like that go through?
Well, I think.
What's his argument going to be for why the antitrust authority should allow this?
I think he ought to. The argument should be, okay, look at the worldwide, what worldwide portion they have. This should be viewed as a worldwide decision, not as a U.S. decision, and that's what I think he'll do, and I think it makes a ton of sense. And I think if the Justice Department or FTC were to look at the worldwide values of steels, we need a steel company like this. We got Nucor, which is a competitor, and we would have one company that could champion us. ArcelorMittal could come in. Don't forget, if the Chinese found another way to dump, believe me, they would. I like this deal very much, but I know that I fear that the people in the FTC will look at this thing as being domestic and therefore too powerful.
We'll see. The news is crossing in a tape where zinc, aluminum, copper, lowest since June on some of these Chinese concerns.
Well, the Chinese stores.
We'll get their eco data this week as well.
God, now this week we saw Chinese